Hi, I'm Bikram Dosanjh, downtown Toronto and overall GTA Toronto condominium expert, and today I'm with the CEO and president of Easton's Group and Gupta Group, Dr. Steve Gupta. Thank you so much for being on the show. He's been a huge role in helping me since I started in my career, and today we're going to discuss many things with Dr. Steve Gupta. First question is, let's talk about just how you got started in real estate. And I know your story, and you came here in the 70s, I think in the 70s, right?
Yeah,
you came here and you started off in insurance sales, and from there built up. Let's talk about that.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Bikram. I enjoy working with you, and I enjoy working with who is a go-getter.
Thank you.
And like you're a go-getter, and you work hard in whatever you do, and that's the key. That's how I started. I always believe in that when you want to do something and you have whatever your competition, or in a class when you're going to school, 500 students, how would you get ahead of them?
Yeah.
The only way to get ahead of them is work harder than everybody.
100%.
And that's the only
There's no
way.
shortcut to success.
There's no
It's always
shortcuts
hard
to
work.
success. People don't realize, people will say you have this, you drive a nice car, you have this much money, you have a nice home, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But they don't realize how much effort has gone behind it. And I know when people were watching movies, putting their legs on the other leg, and I was working.
And you were working no matter what, and people would finish at 5 and go.
And
home
again,
put in
you
work.
know, there's no satisfactory answer to that whether this is the best way to do it. Sometimes you regret that. Maybe you enjoy your life. What the hell, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, the word goes around. The word has to improve, and there are only few people who make it happen. Look at all those doctors, researchers who are searching for new cures. And my Guruji always says, you can't research something if it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Research.
Yeah.
So that means it's already there, and then you're trying to find it. And how you help people.
Yeah.
So same way, what I try to do is, I don't just work to make money. I work to do something different, for a sense of accomplishment, for a sense of doing something different, and delivering something for the people that can help others. And that's the whole idea of what we are doing. And but people don't realize is when you work hard, harder I work, luckier I get.
Yeah.
That's how I believe in it.
It's very true.
So we keep working hard. Whatever we do in its class, whatever the type of projects we do, in its class, we do the best. We excel in that. And that's the idea. We deliver, under promise, over deliver, or exceed the expectations of our guests or our customers. That's how it is. If you do it with that way, with that view in mind and deliver, people will understand that.
100%. I remember when I was a younger kid, when we used to go to Toscana Banquet Hall for weddings and family events, and you were a trendsetter, because at that time, no one had in-house lighting, no one had in-house sound. You were pretty much ahead of its time at that time. No one was doing it, and everyone followed. You went above and beyond the standards. Everything you had done was amazing, and it was, I think, at that time, it was by far one of the greatest banquet halls of its time, and still is till this day.
I know. Thank you very much for recognizing that, and I think that's the key. Same thing in every one of the hotels we have built. They are the best in its class, in this brand, not only in Canada but in North America.
Oh yeah.
And I take pride in that.
You should, right? Because your 3 stars look like 4.5 stars, and I've noticed that in many of your hotels.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, now we are launching this iconic building in Vaughan Metropolitan Center, and it'll be the first 50-plus story building. There are 2 of them actually, 51 and 53, in whole city of Vaughan, and very, very iconic looking building, and the iconic location.
Location. Like, I want to point out one thing. I know a few people are kind of confused with the location. It's not Highway 7 in Jane. It's actually right at the southeast corner of Interchange and Highway 7, which is a lot more central. Jane is to the east. So people got to realize that, because this is truly at the center of what's going to happen on Highway 7, which will become Avenue 7. This is the best location you can have in Vaughan. It is the jewel of Vaughan, and it will be the tallest towers in Vaughan. And Mr. Steve, Dr. Gupta, is bringing this project. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I can tell you the difference. Location, always location. Location. Real estate is a known slogan, but at the same time, all I can tell you, this location is the King and Bay of one.
Yeah.
That location, because all the infrastructure, all the necessities that you may need, whether it's theaters, whether it's restaurants, whether it's hotels, whether it's shopping, everything's close by. It's already there. And subway is steps to the subway. And it's not, you're not walking half a mile to the subway.
It's literally steps.
Literally steps away. And that makes a difference. And like you said, VMC, the Avenue 7, when that becomes Avenue 7, we are in the heart of it.
Yeah.
We actually started right there.
Right in the center. Yeah, you are at the footprint of it. You're right.
Exactly. And that's how it is. And once this is built, all these people who are living in Woodbridge or their children, they would prefer to have their children buy a condo there instead of going downtown.
Yeah.
So from here, downtown will be with the subway 35 minutes away.
Yeah, you're within the core within 35 minutes.
Yeah. And I want you to know that in 2009, when federal government announced the $750 million grant for this subway to build this, Prime Minister Harper came to our hotel.
Exact location. I know you had a big part in that.
Yeah. So it's a history-making site. It's a great location, right center ice, and you can't go wrong. And I say to your viewer that, sometimes you say, oh, I can buy that in that project, another condo at $20,000 less or $30,000 less. And all I can tell you, invest that $20,000 or $30,000 more in that location, because that'll bring you more benefit or more return on your money per long term.
100%. You're very right. I mean, if I remember in 2011, I had bought condos at Bay and Bloor, and at that time they were about $320,000. And a lot of people told me that's too much. They bought at areas like Fort York and Bathurst. It's a day and night difference, and that area was about $280,000. But today those 281 bedrooms are about $320,000, and the 320 Bay and Bloor is over $500,000.
Yeah.
So it's all location.
It's all location.
In terms of your down payment, it's not a big difference. It's very relevant, but the outcome.
You're putting 20% for $6,000 on that extra money.
It's nothing.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. This is where people, I always say that, if you buy something right and you pay for it once, but if you compromise and don't buy the right location, you pay for it a few times. And that is very, very important. So in real estate, invest at the right location, invest with the right builder, and see what you do. A package. We have had 3 other projects that we did, and this is the 4th one. And why they're all successful. And it's not, I know luck plays a big part in whatever we do, and is part of destiny, but at the same time, hard work and positioning and the packaging and the whole thing makes a difference. So Dundas Square Gardens, in 5 months, we sold 922 units.
I remember.
And that was the fastest selling condominium projects in GTA history. And after that, Rosedale, and that's sold 90% now. And this one is looking really, really good because people are.
I think this one will be a record breaker now, 100%. I can feel it.
Thank you. I can feel it too. So the point I'm making is it's not a coincidence that every time you do that. It's a combination of a lot of hard work, combination of putting the pieces together, and combination of trying to give you more for your money than you can get. And we don't compromise. We pay attention to detail in every little thing. That we don't want people to buy something. Even Dundas Square Gardens, it's under construction. We are going over that. And all the construction guys, they were here last Friday. They were asking me to compromise. And to cut down, put slab doors, they call them, just flat doors. And I looked at them. I said, I'm not going to do it.
That's not me. You're right.
You've
never built any of your hotels like that.
He says everybody does that. I say, I'm not doing it. And that's all I said. So once that is built, within a few months now, you'll see our mock-up room done there, mock-up unit done there. You will know the quality what we will provide will be a lot better than people have ever got. And I want them to feel 10 years after they move in, the unit looks new.
That's what the difference is.
That's where the difference.
That's because a lot of these buildings look beautiful when they're built. 10 years later, it's not the same.
2 years later, they're not the same.
Very true. Very true.
And that's what we do. That you walk into any of our hotels. They're 5, 7, 8, 10 years old. You will find them that they look new. People will say, "When did you build?"
Oh yes.
I said 9 years ago. Say, oh, wow, it looks new.
Well, I remember when I first met you in 2014 February. It was at your hotel, Hilton Garden Inn. We're at the corner of Jarvis and Dundas, the northeast corner, and the hotel looked amazing. And I remember you telling me that you had renovated this a few years ago. I think it was in 2008, 9?
9, yeah.
Is when you had uplift the property, and it looked better than a lot of the other hotels in the city at that time.
Absolutely.
It was, and I can just imagine Dundas Square. To give people an idea, Dundas Square is one of the first to go into that neighborhood. Not only improve the whole, now everyone wants to buy east of Yonge, and at that time a lot of people didn't believe in it, but Dr. Steve Gupta did. It had set a trend in that area.
This is how it is. There are people, there are followers, and there are others who pave their own roads, and we always go in a different direction, something to deliver and to do something different. I built hotels in Toronto in mid-range, upper mid-range, mid-scale, but nobody was doing that. And I can tell you lenders did not want to lend me money, and I can also tell you that appraisers would not even appraise me at the same price that I built for. And it was tough, but we got it done. Yeah. And I proved them all wrong now.
All of them.
Yeah. And that's how it is. It's a conviction in what you believe in and what we are doing, and you'll find the Icona Condominiums will be one of the best projects launched in 2017.
Yeah, I know for a fact, and I know that you always do things very different. Just in Dundas Square, for example, a lot of people did not believe in the smaller unit types, and no one was doing it. No one in the city had done it, no one was doing it, no one was even planning to do it. Dr. Steve Gupta came in with these very unique floor plans that were a huge success. I mean, sold out within days. And I thank you so much for at that time, because I had a lot of clients who wanted some of these units. And at that time, I was lucky enough to meet you. And I remember you actually giving me one of your personal family and friends units, and you helping me with the allocation process. But those units, I mean, tell me what happened after that.
Well, I can tell you, it's one of those things that, when you pay attention to detail, I call myself, my whole family, my children are all top of the class students.
100%.
And then I was sitting with my architect and 15 other consultants in my boardroom here, and something was bugging me. I said, this is not right.
Yeah.
So I said, just stop the process.
Yeah.
So I started, I have a stencil paper in my drawers at home, in the office, everywhere. So I pulled it out, started marking it. And I told him, work on this. And he did, and then I worked on it again.
Yeah.
And we came up with some 1-bedroom units and 2-bedroom units that I know Page and Steel Architects were called after that. I want the same Steve Gupta unit.
Yeah, you're right.
So that is a trendsetter.
That's what it was, because a lot of developers after that had followed, and they started using those plans to sell out their buildings.
Exactly.
When no one believed in those. Right, I remember people calling me saying, other developers saying, you must be crazy selling these units. But I'll tell you right now, my clients that bought those units, they've made a huge return on their investment. Not only, I think, over doubled their equity, but as rental properties, they're going to get the exact same rent for a bigger unit with less operating costs, so they're going to be netting more, always.
But I can tell you the reason for that is where my thought process came from. Because I feel that real estate is not going to get cheaper.
Yeah.
Condo prices are going to go up. Same as people have to realize, construction price goes up every year 7 to 10%. Why? The union wages are negotiated for 3 years in a row. 3% each year, approximately. Sometimes 2.5%, sometimes 3%. So that's 9%, 3%.
Right there.
So then you have your material changing because of the oil prices and because of the US dollar.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the material, construction material, comes from overseas and from states, and drywall, steel, and all the lighting, carpet, flooring materials. A lot of materials come from overseas, and that, so overall 10% increase in there, plus the appreciation in land, like you said, which is huge. And I can give you an example. I bought a few lots in downtown Toronto in 2003 and 2005, and I can tell you they have gone 500 to 700 times.
Wow.
Land. So the question when we set the trend, I felt that when people buy 500 square foot unit and they need a place to sleep, cook, eat, and then what I did is taken our experience from the hotel,
Yeah.
and made a resort style. So gave them everything that they can have. They can go to a library, sit and study over there when their spouse could be doing whatever cooking or whatever laundry in the unit. And same way you instead of having a living room or a big dining room sitting there, and you could use the cooking place or that what we created, a gourmet kitchen with a table, so people could hire a chef and entertain over there.
Right there. Yeah.
So if you do it once or twice or 3 times a year, you don't need to have that place sitting there forever.
You don't. 100%.
You don't. And that's the idea. That's how I started this trend. That's how I worked
the
on
outdoor terraces. I mean, at that time, the outdoor terrace.
We were the first one to have. We were the first one to have 8,000 square foot outdoor rooftop lounge and rooftop terrace. Then we had 16,000 square foot rooftop terrace at Dundas Square. Now in this building we have 2 8,000 square foot sky lounges, and these are enclosed on the top of the building.
Top floor. So
51
a lot of developers won't do the top. You're doing the top.
Yeah. So that way you can have a fantastic view of the city.
Yeah.
When on a clear day you can see miles and miles from there.
Oh, you can see everything.
Yeah. And so that's what being different. Everything costs money, so we make a little bit less, but that's okay. But I think what we want people to be happy, and they building a brand.
Yeah.
I think that's the key.
One thing that I've noticed working with you over the years is that you always leave money on the table. You leave money on the table for your investors, your clients who are buying with you, because if they make money with you on one project, they will continue to make money in many other projects to come. And I've noticed that with you.
Well, it's important that, in any deal, both parties have to feel win-win.
100%,
And if you do a deal, sometimes you're forced to say, okay, I have to buy it, and you squeeze every dollar out of them. You leave a bitter taste in their mouth.
Yeah.
They'll do it, but they'll be unhappy, and I'd never like to do that. I'm God-fearing that way. I always feel that all human beings, and even if I get a little bit more, so it's not going to change my lifestyle.
No.
So just that's okay. Be happy. We deliver. We want people to be happy. We want their home. They should enjoy their home, have a great, happy lifestyle, and happy life when they start and buying a condo.
Yeah, definitely always with the Gupta Group. And I honestly, I can tell you from experience, working with Dr. Steve Gupta at Dundas Square and even Rosedale, whenever I needed something, if there was a unique situation, sometimes I would pick up the phone and call, and you know what? He always accommodated. Where most people would say no, he always he figured a solution and made it work.
We are all human beings. We got to help each other, and I never say no if I can do something to anybody. That's how it is.
Yeah, I know you're right. I definitely appreciate that.
My pleasure, anytime, and good luck to you in selling this condo. This is a great project. Timing is the key. If I can give this message to your buyers, that don't sit on the fence. Make a decision, and then move on.
Yeah.
It's not going to get cheaper. Second building, when it's going to be launched,
it won't be cheaper.
It won't be cheaper.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. And you know that last 2 or 3 projects sold in Vaughan, they were sold in 15 days.
Oh yeah, sold out extremely fast, faster than downtown actually.
Yeah. So because there is a demand in this area, they're all houses, they're millions of dollars in Woodbridge, and this is cheap, and children or young professionals can, off the people who are living in there, they can buy, stay close to their parent, and yet 35 minutes away from downtown. So it's a perfect situation. That's why location is good, and the prices are going to go up here.
100%, and I can already vision it. I was coming here on the 407, and while passing by Vaughan, I looked a little bit to the north, and I looked at the property, and I saw the Hilton is there right now. But if you can imagine 53 and 51 stories right there, it'll be a landmark property in the city of Vaughan. And you know what? Once that area is built, you won't be able to buy in those locations because those locations will all be developed.
100%.
You know what I mean? And the thing is, another major point I should point out is that Dr. Steve Gupta has always been very great to us, and he's always brought us in at the first stage of the projects, which pretty much guarantees you first allocations, day one pricing, day one incentives, and you're buying pretty much at price points that are right at the bottom that will continue to go up. So even if you're buying as an investment, you're buying to live in, you'll definitely make money in these projects over time. And that's because Dr. Steve Gupta works with top real estate agents and always supports them.
We do. And we are, like I always say, that agents, brokers are the bridge between the buyer and the developer, because you're the ones who are going to inform them. Otherwise, they may not know us. They may not know what project is coming. You're always on the run and trying to find these things. And the other thing also we're doing for this project, and we did it before too, we are working on we have made a deal with Rogers for internet, for 1 gigabyte internet for $30 a month for 3 years instead of $150 a month.
Wow, that's what
It
you
may
did
be
at
less
Rosedale as well.
Yeah. So it'll be fantastic when people go there. They get value.
Yeah.
They feel that they're getting something out of it. I think that's the key.
Yeah. And another thing that I want to point out is that you are definitely right about the bridge, the gap between the client and the developer is always people like myself. And I remember sitting down with you right here in your boardroom for the Rosedale. And at that time, a lot of people were not buying on Bloor or east of Yonge, but you told me, watch what's going to happen. East of Yonge on Bloor is going to get completely transformed. A lot of developers are trying to secure land within the areas, and you explained these things to us. And we went out to our clients, and I remember telling my clients, guys, trust me, I'm buying this neighborhood, buy the right units facing north, overlooking Rosedale, forever views, and you will make money. And one thing I can tell you in 2017, I know other developers that are going to be launching within the same area now at price points that are higher. So once again, you set the trend in that area as well, and you educate us, and we learn a lot from you, and in return we teach and explain those things to our clients.
Thank you, I appreciate that, but that you feel that way, and it is true 100%.
Yep.
And when I built that city center on 200 Dundas Street in 1999, people were thinking, I'm nuts.
Crazy. Yeah.
And I proved them wrong. And as much as that, I had the premier, the mayor, and everybody writing me letters, and we had numerous articles in Toronto Star and some other newspapers. National Post has always been good. And same thing we did at Bloor Street, Rosedale on Bloor. When we did that, I had this gut feeling, that intuitive feeling, whatever you call, is that east is the way to go. And at Dundas Square Gardens is the gateway to the east. And that project will set the trend going development to the east. You'll see. Same thing as that you rightly pointed out, and I told you at that time, it will happen, and you'll see what happens in one BMC on that whole sector. In the next 5 years, in 10 years, you'll see probably 50 buildings in that area.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge downtown. It's a massive development.
Absolutely, and there's no way people will be able to afford to sell at the prices they will buy today.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
No, you're right.
Yeah. You can wait and see, and wait and pay more, then everything accelerates.
Well, yeah, you can wait and see and never take action, and then look back 20 years. People tell me now, I had chances to buy houses in Toronto at $10,000, $20,000 before. I never did. If you had bought those properties and just kept them, I mean, let's say they didn't just keep them as rental properties, where would you be today? And I remember you telling me when you came here, how much was a property in Toronto at that time?
At that time in downtown, detached house, probably $14,000. Which is worth today $1 million, 900 maybe thousand. Condos were $10,000 to $15,000 one bedroom, and today they're $600,000 to $700,000. And real estate, real estate is land is only God can make more land. So land is whatever it is, and certain areas are not going to grow. You go King and Bay. Why King and Bay is more important? Because all the business, infrastructure, everything is there. Because of that, that location becomes more important for everybody. Same situation everywhere. Manhattan in New York, it's a small island. It's not going to grow. That's why prices keep going up. And they're building vertical buildings.
On top of buildings.
On top of buildings. And I saw they call it a billionaires row. They have a number of buildings, only billionaires live there. And they're buying condominiums for $25 to $50 million.
Yeah, you're right.
In a high-rise building. So this is what it is. And Toronto real estate is 1/3 of the New York prices.
Still a bargain.
People don't realize, but $600-700 what you buy here. And you cannot even pay for just construction, forget about land value in New York. That's what it is. Canada is a bargain for rest of the world as compared to even Vancouver. We are 20%, 30% less,
Yeah.
and value-wise overall. And you go to Los Angeles, London, England. You go to even Paris. You go to LA.
Yeah.
All these cities, Miami. Our prices are much lower.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Much lower as compared to there. So that's why I say Toronto is a bargain what you're getting.
Yeah.
And as compared to houses now, condominium is the right way to go.
Yeah.
Because of the green belt regulations, people are going to go vertical.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
That's
the only way the growth is going to be.
Yeah, that's the
All
only
the
way.
youngsters have to live there.
And I look at all my generation and a lot of the people that I grew up with, and they don't want to live in a house anymore. A lot of them want to live in condominiums because of the convenience of lifestyle, close to a lot of things. So it's it's the way
No snow
that
plowing, no
everyone's moving.
grass cutting, and no looking after outside. You spend your time with your friends and your spouses, and I think that's how it is.
No, that's true. And you know what? It's a very good point that you made that Toronto's still a bargain because, since we live in Toronto in the GTA, so we look at real estate locally. But if you look at real estate on a global scale, Toronto is extremely well priced compared to any other major city. And those who realize that will benefit long term.
Toronto is a world-class city. It's the 5 gateway cities of the world within the 5. And there's no reason for its real estate to be higher. It's just because it's for whatever reasons, I think the whole market has been, Toronto has been kind of depressed or be very conservative to so to say. Even in the hotel rates, if you go to New York, the same hotel room costs you $400 to $500. Over here, you get it for $200.
$200, yeah.
The people are afraid to increase the rates, and eventually it will happen though. It's not going to stay there.
Yeah.
And you'll find, I'm telling you, downtown Toronto, find a piece of land and building is very, very difficult.
Extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And for those who are buying it, they're paying top dollar as well.
Yeah.
It's very hard to find.
So if you can invest, time is always right. It's don't wait for it and don't sit on the fence. Make a decision and just move on with life. I think you will not regret. In real estate, is a long-term play.
Yeah.
It's not something that you buy today and you make money next year. It doesn't happen that way. Only lottery can happen. Another example I can tell you. 40 years ago, gold was $120 an ounce. In 40 years, gold has become $1,200 an ounce, only 10 times more.
Yeah.
Whereas real estate those days, what it was, $15,000 is now worth $1 million. Gone up 50 to 70 times.
As compared to gold.
So
Plus
gold is a
derived
commodity because that's something they're making gold all the time.
Yeah.
And they're producing with land you can't produce.
Yeah.
And depending on some different areas. And so the land in the long run bought right, looked after, or property looked after will always give you a good return.
I remember you telling me once, real estate bought right, bought in full, managed right. Yes. I know it's a famous quote. You were telling me
it's true.
Is by far the best investment on earth.
Yeah.
Right?
No question.
100%. I still remember that day. You remember telling me.
Well, I'm glad you remember this. I like that, when you say something and somebody remembers, and especially young ones like you that remember and benefit from it, and that's really important.
Which is, you're right. It's very important because a lot of the things I learn a lot from you, and I take action on those things. And a lot of the things that we've discussed. You go out in the world. There's on being in Canada. Number one, I think being born here, just being in this country, is already an opportunity. I mean,
absolutely.
You can achieve anything you want here.
This is a great country. I'm telling you, 120 countries, people living in harmony over here, and there's no place on earth where people 120 different nationalities living in one place, one city.
Yeah.
And this city is so sought after out of 250,000 to 300,000 immigrants. Half of them want to call Toronto their home.
Yeah.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because you can't change it, because they love to live here.
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea. So it's a great country. It's the envy of the whole world. And I wish that the rest of the world can take lessons from how Torontonians live together.
Yeah.
And we have a superb country, growing country. Potential is very high for achievers who want to achieve. It's fantastic.
Yeah. If you want to put in the work and you want to, really put in hard work, I think you can create anything you want in life. Nothing is impossible as
100%.
long as you have the right vision.
100%.
You can get anything you want, and I've learned that from you. And I just really want to thank you
Well, thank you
sitting
for
down
your
with us
time.
today.
I'm really impressed and that you remember all the things I told you.
Yeah.
In the past, I can tell you a lot of young ones, I tell them things and they don't remember what you did.
Thank you.
And that is the key to success.
Thank
If somebody tells you something good and trying to remember and take advantage of it, and that is the key.
Yeah,
That's how people learn and they progress better than others.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Good luck and all the best, and any help I can be, just call me.
Well, for sure. We'll definitely be in touch with Dr. Steve Gupta throughout the process. But in order to secure your unit, I mean, why don't you explain a little bit of our relationship and how clients can benefit dealing with Bikram Dosanjh?
Actually, all I can tell you that Bikram service people really well. He comes to us, asks for certain things, whatever he needs for his clients, and he'll look after you, and he always will go after the best units. This is how he mentioned that, he asked me for that certain unit.
Yeah.
And I held it. I liked him somehow. I couldn't say no to him. I said, okay, no problem. I'll give you this one. And that's how it is. He'll find you the right unit. He gets you the initial allocation at the initial offering and initial prices. So you can't go wrong. If you're looking to buy a condominium or invest in a condominium, I think you have the right agent and you should work with them.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank
My
you
pleasure.
for everything you've done. You've been a motivation
Pleasure.
for a lot of people, and I know you'll continue to pretty
Wow.
much dominate in any industry that you put your foot into.
Well, we try. God is great, and I always thank God for giving us the
You're right.
ability and opportunity to do whatever we're doing, and we continue doing the right thing always.
That's another thing I learned from you. God is great, and thank God every day because God gave this to you. God has blessed you, and you know
Absolutely.
what? Without God, you wouldn't be anywhere. So you always have to.
One thing
give
is,
thanks.
one thing is very important, that be thankful for what we have,
Yeah.
and count your blessings. And I can tell you, if you start counting the things that you want or you don't have, or the problems you have,
Yeah.
you won't even be able to count them on your 10 fingers.
Yeah.
But if you start counting your blessings, it'll be hundreds.
Yeah. You're right.
And that's what people don't realize. I think that's important, that think positive.
Yeah.
One thing is, I'm a total optimist.
I know.
And everything I want to do, I say, you watch me, I'll make
do
it happen.
I remember
I'll
you
make
telling
it
me a few
happen.
stories.
Yeah. I think that's the key. That's very, very important, that be positive, think positive, and feel good first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And morning means another inning.
Yeah.
One more inning.
Yeah. One
So
more
let's-
day.
one more
Right?
day.
Put it
So
in,
just
and
just make it happen and work hard.
Yeah. And with the hard work, you're right. And with believing God and God's blessings and doing the right thing,
Yeah.
you can make it anything
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. Help whoever you can. Give back to the community.
Yeah.
And help your people, help your peers, and love your family, love your country, and your community.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Once again, all the best to you.